Hello and welcome to HVNN's series of interviews with candidates for Poughkeepsie's Common Council. I'm Roger Connor and we're coming to you from the Spark Media Project at the Poughkeepsie Underwear Factory building in downtown Poughkeepsie. And joining me is Mike Young, candidate at large for the
Thanks,
Common
Roger.
Council.
Yeah, hello.
Thanks for being here, Mike.
Thank you, Roger. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. And first off, tell me a little bit about your life in Poughkeepsie, what you love about this city, and what drew you here?
Sure. So I moved here about a dozen years ago now for a job at IBM, and my first apartment was on Main Street over top of what's now Shotzi's, the Shotzi's restaurant. And I've stayed in Ward 2 ever since. I moved on Main Street once, and I bought a house just a few blocks south on Barclay Street. I've loved the city. I love everything about the small town, but still an urban environment, the ability to walk places, the ability to have small businesses that keep the place running and keep the place going. It has amazing potential. We have so many opportunities, both downtown, our waterfront, we have a transit hub, we have a north side with amazing manufacturing potential, and I just loved everything about it and made it my home.
Okay. Now, you are currently the second ward council member, but in this election, you're running for this new position, the at-large position. What qualities do you bring to the job as a council member that you feel are valuable traits for a contributing member?
For the at-large position especially, I think the position for at-large is a new one added by the recent charter changes, and this new position will be the chair of the council. It's going to have power to set the legislative agenda, which is something that the people of the city of Poughkeepsie have never really had an input into. And so I view this position as requiring strong leadership, understanding of how to run a meeting, how to ensure that we move the legislation forward, how to work with the public to provide input into legislation, and someone who has a plan to work with the administration to actually get things done. And that's something that I know I have the skills to do. I don't, when I see my opponents, I worry about what their plans are for the future of the city of Poughkeepsie, and given that it's my home, I really needed, I said, I'm going to step up and take on this opportunity. It's something that I think coming from Ward 2, which is a great ward, it has a mix of different people of different ethnicities, different classes, and socioeconomic positions. It is something that we have a real place, a real example of one of the areas where Poughkeepsie is up and coming. And each ward has these great places within it. And I think the at-large position, coming citywide, has a real insight to take the entire city as a whole at heart and drive agenda forward. It's something that I know I've demonstrated with my time on the council. I've demonstrated it as a member of the supervisory committee for the Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, as a manager at IBM. I have really great experience in those fields, in the area of leadership, and I think that's something this city needs right now. We haven't had council leadership, we haven't had a council plan in years.
From your perspective, what's the greatest challenge facing the city going into a new year?
Well, right now it's trying to get us back onto firm financial footing. We've had almost a decade of bad budgets where we underestimated revenues. We ended up getting low or non-existent surpluses or really bad deficits in most cases, which drove our general fund balance into about negative $12 million when the current administration took office. Now we're slowly getting ourselves back up out of that. We had to do a bit of a rip off the Band-Aid kind of thing to get our finances back in order. And we're now seeing, with that foundation, the mayor and the finance committee, of which I'm a part, introduced a budget that stays under the tax cap. Huge deal. And we actually have reasonable revenue estimates in place for the first time in a very long time. And I think that that is going to set us up to improve economic development, expand the services that have been decimated over the past few years. We haven't had a reasonable amount of parks and recreation, youth programs, services like the necessary sanitation and street cleanup that we need in the city. Now we have the opportunity to really start on those items. We are going to bring in a economic development department, actually start up that sort of program to bring in new development, bring in new businesses, bring in new jobs. These are the things that the city needs to focus on. These are the challenges that if we don't get our finances in order, if we make silly decisions, if we leave buses parked in a garage, not serving the residents and owing $1.6 million to keep them there, those are terrible decisions that we can't afford to make. We have to drive forward with smart budgeting, smart decisions that benefit people and save money in the end.
Very good. Well, Mike Young, I wish we had more time to drill down deeper, but we don't. So we have been talking with Mike Young. He is one of the 3 at-large candidates, a new position on the Poughkeepsie Common Council. And whether you live in Poughkeepsie or any other part of the Hudson Valley, be sure to get informed about your local elections. And be sure to get out and vote on Tuesday, November 7th. Mike, thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, Roger. And if anybody needs any more information, they can find out more at mikeyoungny.com.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.